first graders, happy Thursday! It's Mrs. Baker and Duke here, and we are looking forward to doing another fun math lesson with you today. Let's start with our morning note. Dear first graders, today is Thursday. Today there are 2 math lessons assigned. Just do as many problems as you need to get the hang of the skills. Remember, we have our lunch Zoom meeting tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Have a terrific Thursday! Love, Mrs. Baker. Please remember to go on Seesaw and make corrections to this note. Today for math, we are going to be doing 2 different lessons, but they kind of go together. We've already talked about breaking things into equal parts. Today we are going to break things into halves, quarters, and fourths. So basically, it's the same thing you did on Tuesday, but with different names. Now, because there are 2 lessons today, I don't want you to be doing math all day long. So if you and somebody at home want to make the decision that you have mastered a skill, you are free to move on. I just want to give you plenty of opportunities to practice, so I will be going through each problem with you. You do not have to do each problem if you are getting a good understanding of it. Let's jump right in. Go ahead and find page 687. It should look like this, first graders. We are going to start by talking about halves. The directions say to draw a square, circle, and rectangle, and then draw lines to separate each shape into 2 equal parts. The directions say you can shade each part a different color, or you can just draw the line. It depends on what you have available to you at home, first graders. As you can see, I drew a rectangle, a square, and a circle. And then I drew lines dividing each shape into 2 equal parts. At the top of page 688, it explains a whole that is separated into 2 equal parts is separated into halves. On Tuesday, we focused on calling them equal parts. Today, we are going to focus on calling them halves when you see 2 equal parts. For numbers 1 and 2, you are going to write how many equal parts make up the whole. For numbers 3 and 4, you are going to draw lines to show 2 equal parts, and then write how many halves on the lines down below. Remember the cookie, first graders. What does equal look like? Show me with your lines. At the top of page 689, the directions for numbers 5 and 6 say write how many equal parts make up the whole. The directions for numbers 7, 8, 9, and 10 say half of each shape is missing. Draw the missing half. I did an example for number 7, first graders. You can see that it starts with a square, and then I added another square. Together they make a rectangle. If you draw the missing half for number 8, first graders, what shape should you see? I'll give you a hint. You are going to draw the missing half below the half that you already see on the paper. Continue drawing the missing halves for all 4 of these problems. The directions for numbers 11 and 12 say color half of each shape. Write how many parts are shaded. You can use a pencil for this, first graders. You can see that I colored in the first half of that square. I colored in 1 of how many parts? How many total equal parts were there? You are going to do the same thing for number 12. We are just going to skip over page 690 for today, first graders. We are going to continue on page 693. Remember, first graders, if you and somebody at home want to decide when you have mastered the skill, you can just skip problems that are similar to ones we've already done. I want you to get the most out of this math lesson that you can. On page 693, it says, separate the rectangle into 2 equal parts. Then separate it into 4 equal parts. Shade each part with a different color. Now separate the circle into 4 equal parts and shade each part with a different color. If you have crayons available at home, first graders, you can add the color. If not, it is not a big deal. Don't worry about that. You can see that I have already split that rectangle into 2 equal parts. The next step is to make those 2 equal parts into 4 equal parts. So I split that big rectangle the other direction. I split it across horizontally. The next step is to break the circle into 4 equal parts. So I did a vertical line going straight up and down and a horizontal line going side to side. We already spent time talking about halves today, first graders. At the top of page 694, it explains a whole that is separated into 4 equal parts is separated into fourths, or quarters. Hey, first graders, how many quarters does it take to make a whole dollar? Now we have a little bit better of understanding of why they are called quarters, right? On the right side of the examples, you see a circle and a square, divided up into equal parts. How many equal parts do you see, first graders? How many fourths do you see in each shape? And how many quarters do you see in each shape? Write your answers on the lines. The directions for numbers 1 and 2 say write how many equal parts make up the whole. The directions for numbers 3 and 4 say draw lines to show 4 equal parts. Write how many fourths. So you'll draw those lines to make 4 equal parts, and then on the lines below each shape, you'll write how many fourths you see in each shape. Take a look at page 695. The directions for numbers 5 and 6 say a quarter of each shape is missing. Draw the missing quarter. So for number 5, you'll add another rectangle the same size as the first 3. And for number 6, you'll just finish off that circle. For numbers 7 and 8, it says color a fourth of each shape. You can just use your pencil to do this, first graders. It says write how many parts are shaded. So down below each shape, you'll see those lines that you will fill in your answer with. I did number 7. I colored in one of the equal shapes, and then I said one of parts. How many total equal parts are inside of that circle? One of parts. Do the same thing for number 8. You will do the same thing for numbers 9 and 10. Number 11 on page 696 says Heidi has a cookie. She and 3 friends want to share the cookie. How many equal parts does Heidi need? So if it's Heidi and 3 of her friends, how many people are sharing that cookie and how many equal parts are needed? Number 12 says Adrian draws a line on a rectangle to show equal parts. Then she draws another line to show more equal parts. Describe what happens to the sizes of the parts. You can write and complete this sentence. Each time she draws a line, the parts get... What word will you use to describe what the parts look like each time she draws a line?